Yes, g'day and welcome to a very special episode of Maybe Daily, another Torch Paris-related episode. And we've got a special guest, our man on the ground. It's not often we have experts. Well, it's never really because it's normally Mace and I. But before I introduce him, I am beholden to our sponsor. And our sponsor is obviously minsports.com.au, doing fine work over there. Rick Mirabella is with us. He is, well, who have we got here today? We've got an athlete, we've got a coach, we've got a motivator, we've got a dad of three and an all-round good guy, Mr. Rick Mirabella. Rick, thanks for gracing us with your presence, brother.
Sonny, magnificent to be here, mate. I tell you what, most of those things are true. Athlete was a bit of a stretch, especially these days, but I love it. We're moving, so we're all athletes, aren't we, Sonny boy?
That's it, mate. Left leg, right leg, your body will follow. Mind you, it took me a bit to get out of bed this morning, so not too sure I'd stick with athlete for me.
Oh, well, you are a bit of a specimen. I'm looking around, and he's well set up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
He's a very good set up individual human.
I think specimen is the right term, though, because that's kind of patient zero for the next pandemic outbreak, mate. Hey, mate, we start with a prayer. I'll just do a quick prayer, as always. Let us pray. Let us pray that I don't cramp up during this chat. Let us pray that Rick can somehow motivate me to get off the couch quicker than I did this morning. And let us pray the Aussies bring home a bag of gold from the track in Paris in the name of Edwin Flack,
Oh, good from you.
John Landy, Herb Elliott and Lisa Martin.
Very good from you for the absolute greats.
Mate, Lisa Martin, silver in the marathon, for those who don't know, back in, I think, Seoul in 88.
Yep.
Silver in the marathon. We'll get into it. We're going to jump all across the topics today. Just quickly on that, you've run some marathons.
Yes, mate.
Will an Australian ever win one? Silver.
That's a great
We were
segue.
so close.
Jeez, you're good at what you do, aren't you? 88, yes, Lisa Martin. Now, listen, at the moment, the marathon is such a hugely contested event because it's gone from being that kind of event that you went to when you slowed down, quote unquote, so maybe at the age of 30, to now being, okay, now we're on at the age of 21. And a big part of that, Sonny, is because there's so much money in it throughout the circuit, so on the road circuit. So
In marathon running, there's cash.
So, yeah, mate.
That's it.
Obviously, comparative. It's not NBA or NFL cash, but it's cash.
Wembanyama's not going to drop his Spurs contract anytime soon.
No,
Okay,
there's no
good.
chance. No Wemby on the marathon circuit.
Although, mind you, he'd probably do it in about 8 steps.
7'7". He'd take
Good
a while.
stride.
Good stride length. Don't know about his efficiency, but anyway, I digress. I'll tell you what is good about the marathon. It's hotly contested and there is elites everywhere. So all over the world, they're running quick. But the Aussies, to answer your question, in a roundabout way. Recently, we've had now Brett Robinson went 207 mid and Paddy Tiernan went 207 high. Mm-hmm. So those two boys are ones to watch in Paris. Will they win a medal? They've got to be extremely lucky to get there because there's boys, males that have run 202 low. And the female contingent, well, Ronnie might as well go with it, hugely quality field for the Australians. So Lisa Waitman, who's age 45, a mother of two. She's mother of three, sorry. She's run 223. Sinead Diver, 47 years of age, if you don't mind.
Stop it, the diver.
221.
Making a splash.
221, Sinead, she's run. And another young mum, Genevieve Gregson, who's Ryan Gregson's wife, of course, but Jen's, she's going to be right up there as well. So there's a few Aussies who really... They're all kind of had a lot of running behind them, so a lot of money in the bank, so to say, and they'll be there, but they'll be vying for top 10 type stuff. And
that's
I think
fantastic.
If we get onto some of the track stuff later, I think you'll find there's a few Aussies in medal contention.
Well, we're definitely going to get into that, but before we do, Rick, I want to give people out there a bit of a background to you. You got a lot of strings to the bow, you got a lot of feathers in the cap. You are the founder of a fantastic cause. We've got it right here. I'm sponsoring it on my wrist as we speak. Runnez.com, Runnez.com. Not even .au, guys. This thing is global. Can you run us through what Runnez.com is? Because I got news for you. I think I'm signing up, and that is a big deal because I'm the least motivated athlete of all time.
Sonny, never ever sell yourself short. What a day to be alive, it says on your band, and that's been a bit of a motto of ours for a long time. Yeah, mate, so football and running background, both of those Australian rules footy, and always was pretty passionate, and obviously after all the study and that, was pretty passionate about getting people involved and moving from the start, and running was my vehicle, but it didn't have to just be running, and I'm big on the physiology and the sports science of of the athletes. You mentioned John Landy, but a lot of that stuff through the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And a lot of endurance sport, to be fair, viewers, it hasn't changed too much from your sports to your physiology. So what worked then still works now, and it's just getting people to do it more. So in 2007, I brought people indoors from the track to treadmills, because what that did was allow me to coach these 40, 45-minute sessions and use our Runnez scale, perceived rate of exertion. So I've got 30 people in front of me, all running different levels. Obviously, there's some very good athletes there, and most of the time go on to do great things. But there's also 50% of them will never run a fun run. They just want to have their 2 a week, 3 a week. We brought it online in 2015, and now it's an app, and people all over the world running together, but not just running together, riding, walking. Some people use AirPods and swim to the sessions. So anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes of the sessions. It's all interval based, but again, it's all about you and how you feel on the day. But our major goal, mate, is just it's revolved around movement and getting people moving daily for mental, emotional, and physical well-being.
So just for me as a layman, it's effectively you log on to runners.com on the app, whack the AirPods in or the headphones, and it's a little bit like almost like a meditation course where someone guides you through it. You're voicing people according to their scale as to how they should be running and when they should be trying to lift.
Yep. So it's just literally talking. All right, Sonny, we got, or not Sonny if you're not live. If it's one of the recorded, 3 minutes on at 90% with a 2-minute recovery.
Yep.
Then we've got 5 times 75 seconds on, 45 seconds off. When you're off, you're off, mate. I go on lots of tangents. I've usually got 2 or 3 members behind us so it's recorded in studios like this. 2 or 3 members behind us on treadmills or bikes. And I'm talking about I'm talking about science, and I'm talking about what we did on the weekend. There's all kinds of shit going on. It's magnificent. So there's it's a lot of good stuff. And the biggest thing, Sonny, is because that Aussie Rules team background was huge, and it was and still a massive part of my life. And I've never stopped coaching in that space either. And it's really important, the team aspect and community of distance running. And I think sometimes people go away from that in athletics.
Right.
It's just the way it is. Athletics and triathlon. I know it's getting better now, but I wanted to make a community with no egos. No one whether you're running 14 minutes for 5K or 30, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And I think it's worked pretty well, mate.
Well, if you could tailor one for me, that would be great, because it would go for about 2 minutes. It would be ignore that stitch, stop perving at that chick in front of you, maybe go back to bed.
Imagine Sonny on Beach Road listen to this, viewers. It's 28 degrees. No, 34 degrees.
Yeah, that's it. Crank it up. I'm from Queensland. Crank it up.
Public holiday in Beach Road, Melbourne, and Sonny just puts the app in for the first time. He would get distracted within the first 3 minutes.
Cardiac arrest is the term that comes to mind.
The blood flow should be going to the left ventricle and to the skeletal muscles that they're working, not to other regions.
Not the downstairs department.
No.
Copy that. That's the rudder for the triathlon league.
That's tip number 1.
Yeah, right. Well,
that's for free too.
It's my tip number 1, that's for sure. Mate, you have coached, like you said, in the AFL sphere before. You've been with young netballers. You've developed athletes across different codes. They obviously have similar things. I want to run a bit of a theory past you.
Yes, mate.
Now, anyone who's got 2 ears and has suffered the indignity of having about 6 pints with me has probably heard me trot this one out. But I have a theory. I love AFL as much as the next God-fearing Australian, but if the AFL didn't exist, okay, because it's only a national sport, it's not international.
Correct.
Say for a 4 to 8 year cycle, we just say, hey, AFL, we're shelving it. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I believe with the sheer talent pool of youth athletes in this nation, we would win absolutely every code of footy World Cup on the planet. We would win middle distance running, long jump, high jump. We would get a bag at the Olympics. I think pound for pound, along with boxers, AFL athletes cover the entire gamut of athleticism just about better than anyone. Have you come to a crossroads with young athletes who want to play footy where you think, mate, steeplechase is for you, or stick to the 1500? If we didn't have footy, would we win more gold?
Mate, that's a fantastic question, and I'd agree wholeheartedly. Because of my take on both sides of the fence, I'm probably one. Football's normally the most dominant in their brain as well, so they want to. So I'm normally helping them to get drafted or whatever into the AFL, as opposed to swearing them to fifth. But if they did have genuine potential to be an Olympian, then obviously you're going to say, listen, this is probably the route. But only at the age of 17, 18. But I will go back to you because I want them to play multi-sports. I don't want,
Sure.
you shouldn't individualise before the age of 15 anyway.
Agreed.
We could talk about that many a time later. But to answer your question, yes on all fronts. Footy, Aussie rules say you're going to go and have 12 pints and you'll still be right. Because
Consider it done.
Don't have to ask you twice. So with that, football, Australian rules now, I don't want to get on tangent, but you need to be 100-metre sprinter, you need to be 5,000-metre Olympian, you need to be able to run a marathon, you need to be able to be a UFC fighter all in one.
Sure.
So you're really right. And we train those facets as Australian rules footballers, both male and female from the age of 15 properly. And then, you're right. Then if that sport's not in the Australian consciousness, then all of a sudden...
Oh, well, forget about the consciousness. Like, we literally created it.
Yeah.
We would have ruckmen who were winning the World Cup for us in the Wallabies in the second row. We would have judo champions who know how to wrestle. We'd have bloody Toby Green kicking someone in the face and we'd turn that into a sport. Like, I'm sure there are options here. Now, I'm not advocating that we eradicate AFL.
No,
I'm just
I'm not
advocating
sure.
that you listen to my theory next time I have 6 pints with you.
Oh, I love it. I love these bar-type chats, and I could talk about this shit all day. Yes, we are very good. We've only got 23 million or 24 million, whatever is in this nation at the moment, or 25, might be a bit out of date there. But I tell you what, we do punch way above our weight, and we're not biased at all. Not one bit.
No. I have multiple passports, but I burnt all of them bar the Aussies. Speaking of Aussies, mate, we've got you in because you're our man on the ground. You're our expert. It's an Olympic year.
Yes, mate.
I'm putting you on the spot. We all know here at Maybe Daily, Peter Bowl is our spirit animal. He's going for gold, and we're going to be right there with him. He is effectively our totem and we're his tailwind. What other athletes, any freaks to watch, anyone that people out there might not know about that come this Olympics, we can pretend to have a bit of info on and cheer home? Because let's face it, they're all champions.
Yeah, the Aussies are our go, aren't they? Look, there's so many, Sonny. This year, we'll talk from distance running. We'll talk
Absolutely.
Middle distance, 800 and up as a rule. For now, it's probably the best track and field side we're going to have.
I like this.
The side hasn't been announced yet.
Unannounced, and it's still the best side we've ever taken.
I'm going early, Sonny. And
who's in it? We have no idea, and it is the greatest lineup we've ever had.
Because I can
bit of shade on all other Olympic lineups, mind you.
Because Sonny,
you've been beaten by nothing.
I can read the tea leaves and I can see what's going to happen when you got 7 or 8 different athletes competing for 3 spots in most of the events.
A lot of heartache.
And you just got to, all you can do is go off the times, like a good horse race. If you're going to go off the sectionals, and you got to go off the time. So the main ones, the 1500 in both male and female is going to be huge. And I think as if you're not into the athletics, Olympic time's a good time to start. And these guys are amazing athletes, and obviously they dedicate years and years and years to the craft. So 1500. If you only want to watch for 3.5 minutes, it's brilliant. It's some of the best viewing in any sport anywhere, and it's the best blue ribbon event. Aussies, Cameron Myers is a young fella, barely 18, 17 still actually, sorry, and he not long ago, only a few weeks back, broke Jakob Ingebrigtsen's world record for the under 20.
I like it. I like it so far.
He's a bit of a unicorn. He's got the ceiling. He hasn't even touched that. He's not even.
The horn has not hit the ceiling.
It hasn't even touched it. He's 20 feet away still. He's that good.
Great.
And with athletics sometimes, Sonny, and I'll mention the 800-metre girl, Claudia Hollingsworth, who is a Mentone Grammar alumni, so Bayside Melbourne here, and Craig Mottram coaches.
Oh,
so he's
the Craig Mottram,
Buster
legend of the game.
In my opinion, the greatest Australian athlete ever. So Buster coaches her, looks after her, and Claudia's an 18-year-old who ran 158 recently over 8. And 8, they're hard. They're very hard to win, but she's right there. So 2 young teenagers, Cameron Myers, who could medal. And
yes.
I'm going to say this, he could easily medal.
Gold. We're talking gold.
Well, he could beat Jakob Ingebrigtsen in the 1500. He's got Josh Kerr to contend with from England, who
Wayne Kerr. No chance.
No,
see you, mate.
He probably did his dash then when I mentioned where he's from, but he won the world champs last year. And Ingebrigtsen, who, if you don't know, he's a Norwegian phenom, whatever you want to phenom.
He does sound a little bit like a failed Bond villain.
Yes, he's got a bit of Bond villain about him.
No, Mr. Myers, I expect you to medal.
That's very good. He's been. I tell you what he is. Like his parents, They've run he's the first reality YouTube athletics star, right? So him and his older brothers, they've got this show in Norway.
Oh.
Yeah, you can imagine, right? So he's the youngest.
It's all about you, isn't it, Inga?
It is.
Hey, it's all about you, champ.
All about Jakob. And now Jakob's been a phenom since the age of 6 or 7, and now he's 21 and he's done a lot of great things. But he does run his mouth a bit.
Yeah, right.
So
we've got rivals as well as chances.
Mate, it's going to be the
Loving
1500 male is going to be extraordinary. 1500 female, Jessica Hull, Australian, who's in America. She's a star. She could easily run. She came fourth in the world indoors not long ago. She could easily win a medal too.
Oh, I'm loving this, mate.
I'm dropping names left, right, and centre.
Mate. I think it was Mick Jagger who told me never to drop names, but I wouldn't worry about that. There's another one.
I don't think Jagger knew anything because I'm telling you that these two they'll medal. Let's just go with it.
Yes.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
Cam Myers, and he's got Stu McSwain and of course Oliver Hoare in the 1500 as well.
So the Hoare dog. Gotta love him.
You've only got an hour on the 1500, so we've got to digress.
I love it, mate. I want to ask you. It's a generic question you would have had 1,000 times, but I want to talk motivation and I want to talk it across the facets because for me, I think my favourite drug in the world is cancelled plans. When someone says, look, I'm really sorry, mate, but we're going to have to cancel dinner, I'm just in a river of molasses. Like, that is my heroin. It's like, oh yeah. Might sit at home and watch Bevan down the ground again and just have a few gummies. Like, there's nothing better. That said, when I force myself to go to that dinner, I always appreciate it afterwards.
Yeah.
I always like it afterwards. Yeah. It's like most things. But at the moment, I will do anything to get out of it. So in terms of running every day, I'm sure, like, you clearly love it. What a day to be alive, the runners.com. There's still got to be moments for you where you want that river of molasses and the gummies on the couch. How do you motivate yourself, an injured athlete, a youngster who couldn't be bothered, someone who's trying to lose weight but hasn't seen the benefits yet? How do we get people off their ass consistently?
Yeah, awesome. I can't believe I've never been asked this question via that route.
I'd like to think so.
And I reckon
look, mate, there'll be a day of firsts today. Don't worry about that.
I love that. I reckon I've answered this north of 20,000 times, but still,
I'm original
never
in terms of
via
questions.
that route, which I can't tell you how proud I've got a tear in my eye with pride. The Sonny's articulation there. In all seriousness, he's not saying anything that no one else has ever felt before. There's no doubt about that. Everything he said was spot on. We all are wired for comfort as human beings, and it's a biological thing from millennia back. So we're wired for comfort. It's not normal to want to go and get uncomfortable at 5 a.m. in the morning when it's dark and cold, and you know that your day ahead is pretty busy. But from a motivation sense, I'm not a massive fan of that word. I'm more about process. So the motivation will come when you're 5 minutes to go in the session. So with the process of it, to get moving per se, or just to set yourself something to move every day. Let's just talk about that. So moving every day is just about having non-negotiables in the calendar, Outlook, whatever, on your alarm. It's just a must. So you must look at the process and say, okay, I want to, say it's a 20-minute session, just say I must start. So the 5-minute rule or the 5-minute or 2-minute rule, whatever.
Just start.
Must start. Must do with the 5 minutes. Don't deviate from that first 5 minutes. And it doesn't have to be hard all the time too. Too many people go, oh, I've got to smash myself. Yeah. That's rubbish. Like, if you are training every day, let's just use that example, Sonny, for now, two a week can be hardish, like our sessions or whatever. And the other 4 or 5 are just walks, yoga, swimming, whatever, just moving. In any plane of motion. I don't care, riding, whatever extracurricular activities you want to get up to, Sonny. Moving is magnificent. Okay, that's the only thing. So, but don't wait till you feel good to start.
Okay.
If you wait till you want to do it, you'll never bloody do it. If people that have been 400, 500, 600 days in a row, probably 8 times out of 10, and I can definitely profess to this, don't want to do it the first minute they wake up.
Sure.
But it's just a must. So don't wait to feel good to move. Move, then feel good with the dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and the like.
Guys, get a pen. Start writing this shit down. We've got medalists at Paris. We've got motivation out the wazoo. I'm out of the molasses river. Things are looking up and up here at Maybe Daily. Mate, it's a little bit just on that, like, you sometimes hear, I remember hearing a news article of some bloke who saved a handful of bloody orphans or something from a fiery building, and they said how courageous he was, and he said, the courage came after the fact. I didn't actually think, I just did it. And then afterwards, he was like, shit, that was pretty stupid. It's a fine line between bravery and courage. I guess in a similar way, motivation can be a reverse engineered factor. where it's you'll feel better afterwards, think about the positive aspect, but really just get off your ass and start.
Yeah, it's changing your state as well. And John,
So go to Queensland.
No, you're good from you. He's into it, isn't he? He really wants Aussie rules off the way day. He wants these northern sports.
I have an agenda.
He wants these northern sports. No, in all seriousness, change your state because you're going to get up. If you're in a bit of a rut and doesn't matter getting up or you might be a PM operator, you're moving at PM, change your state after work. So you're driving home. All you want to do is getting the molasses haze. You must change the state by movement. And like John Kennedy, the great man, said, just don't think do. But it's really important that people remember this because that's an extreme example, but it's so easy to not do.
Yes.
It's so easy, again, wide for comfort or let's go, we just want to, and it's not a weak thing. It's a very normal psychological thing to want to not move or not get uncomfortable. So a lot of the stuff that I do with corporates is it's a 20-minute movement rule a day and it's got nothing to do with running. I don't even mention the word running, to be honest, because I don't want to scare people off. Running is a great byproduct and it's a great vehicle for it. But all the other good stuff that comes after it, so the PBs or the marathons or whatever, that happens down the track. You've got to rewire the brain first to say, I'm going to move every day. And then I'm going to single task as well, Sonny. I think people have got so much going on these days that single tasking is a thing of the past. So if they say they won't put themselves first. So if you want to be the best father, the best husband, the best employer or employee you can be, you got to put yourself first. So you got to put the oxygen on your face
before helping someone else.
Absolutely, mate. So you got to move, and then help other people. Then you'll be a much better version of yourself, great man.
Oh, stop it! Getting a bit hard on the downstairs. You're a man who's run many marathons, I assume. Yes.
Yeah, lots.
Is running a decent spectator sport?
That's a great question.
As in marathon running, because the things like the 1500 is amazing. They jostle for position. There's physicality. There's tactics. You've got pace setters. If you're going to the Boston Marathon, the London Marathon, the Great Melbourne Marathon, or even on telly, can you enjoy that as a spectator?
I can. I understand what people are saying, but so for the
like an old footy coach as once said, I hear what you're saying. I just reckon it's bullshit.
Yeah. So, listen, I'm trying to come around this with the right angle.
Yeah. Sonny, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, mate.
2 hours.
Pull your head in.
2 hours, Sonny boy. 2 hours of I understand, but 2 hours of elite sport is very, very good to watch. It's like watching people like the Tour de France.
Absolutely.
And I love the Tour de France. And not just for Gabriel Gattei and his little bloody Currently
Gabby
pieces.
Gate. He's an Aussie and that accent is fake. We don't need to discuss it right now. See you in Paris, Gabby.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I reckon it's 100%.
100%, mate. I've seen him at school. He's ripping bongs. He's Aussie as.
He's got his panel van out the back.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
This is cut, Gabby. We got to cut. Yeah, no dramas, boys. Let me know when we're back on.
There's no doubt that he's only using that to pick up birds, but that's okay. We'll move on. The French accent, Gabriel Gattei. Anyway, the marathon. Yeah. So the marathon is look, it's fast when they're going like that.
Yeah.
And they're elite level. You're looking at the physiology, the mechanics. You're looking at a bit of toughness too. So nothing better than Paddy Tiernan, who's running the marathon for Australia. He's a 207 high man. He at the last Olympics, the COVID Olympics, so 21 it was. He was passing out in the 10,000 meter.
Yeah.
Which is arguably more boring because 25 laps of a track for the viewers to watch. So Tiernan, he'll go till he vomits. So just seeing all the physical discomfort, I agree. It's quite boring when you got someone at the front for 2 hours who looks like they're just taking the piss.
They're cruising.
Yeah, and that doesn't interest me. Like I'm a coach because I love to see people extract everything out of themselves, but also that aren't maybe that naturally gifted become great things. So that's what I love to watch. So yes, there's lots of different narratives going on in the 2 hour piece. But it's a great question, Sonny, and one that's very valid.
Oh, that's all I needed to hear, actually. I didn't even listen to the rest of the answer. So on that, though, then you talk about as a coach what you enjoy.
Yeah.
I know this is probably an impossible question to answer, but in terms of standout coaching moments, do you have things like someone that you coach back from an injury, someone that lost a certain amount of weight, or is it simply the kids who get confidence? Is it the sense of community, the collective fizz that coaching gives you that keeps you doing it? Or have there been special moments where you've thought, oh, this is what it's all about?
Yeah, I think the moments there's so many and varied, but definitely like we went back the other day, like over 20,000 different humans we've coached, and it's pretty amazing. Look, the change in lifestyle, I think, and mindset is the biggest thing when you've got people that are like definitely got lots of people that have dropped 40 kilos and their whole life's different. So they've instantly added on 40 years to their life. Instantly. Change their lifestyle from smoking 70 darts to running marathons. Or I'm big on the stress and the anxiety factor. So if they've gone from being extremely anxious or suffering severe mental health issues to then using exercise as a vehicle to come out of that, but then also changing the next 40 years of their life. So they're all that's the community. We've got a worldwide community that really support each other and get around each other. So everyone's part of a team. So the community and the different lifestyles that like we can help people live. And we still want to have fun. We still enjoy beer, all that stuff. But to be able to really extract the best out of every day, so happiness, energy, productivity, that's number one. But 40 kilos off. But all the people that run marathons used to say, I'm not a runner. I don't run. I can't run more than 1 minute and then run a marathon. So that has to be there. There's thousands of those. And then obviously the boys and girls that get drafted into professional sport. So I'm mostly from this space in the AFL space. Most of them weren't top 10 or top 20 picks, so I had to go the hard way, and they're pretty cool. It's pretty cool moments when they come in the back door, maybe, I'll leave you there, come in the back door at 20, 21, 22 years of age. Yeah. So really cool.
That's about the age I went in the back door. Yeah, one of the prouder moments.
As soon as I said it, I was cooked. As soon as I said it, I did that. Why have I said this?
I was watching Robert Deeks. I said, what's that dribbling down the back of his leg? Oh, I want a piece of that.
1983, the feces down Deeks' hamstring. That was genuine. And you know what? You probably know this already because you're a very, very well-educated man. But Deek had the sponges down the hamstrings that day, and then every Aussie thought it was to eliminate cramping.
Yeah.
But he was actually cleaning
shitting myself.
He was shit off his hamstrings. See, he knows everything, Sonny. He was cleaning the shit off his hamstrings that day.
I know. Well, it's actually the only time I felt like an athlete because I thought, God, the amount of times I've had the runs, this is right in my wheelhouse.
He's not coming back from Revs, though. He's running a marathon.
I'm limping home from Golden Plains. This bloke's winning marathons.
You're in your own marathon there. But, okay, quick question. Would you shit yourself if you were winning a marathon?
Absolutely, because I think I've done it twice this morning and I'm in no way getting any gold out of that.
No, I know. So 100%.
Look, I completely agree with what you're saying as well, because that physical exertion, to see someone go through trouble, to see someone collapse, you don't want to see someone irreparably harmed. You don't want to see them injured. But you want to see someone give 100%. There's nothing worse than someone half-arsing it. You know, people hate Nick Kyrgios because it seems like he doesn't try. The second he tried, we're on board.
You're right, mate.
There is a collective underdog Australian mentality that if you give your best, it doesn't matter if you come dead last. Just give it your all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this Paris, if we have our crop hitherto unnamed, give it their all, we're coming back with the swag.
Look, I know he's taking the piss, but I know that our team is going to be... Easily, I'm going to go.
It's easily the best we've ever had, and no one knows who's in it.
I'm telling you, it actually is. I
want you to be my doctor. Look, mate, great news. The bullet wounds have only hit 3 major arteries, and I think you could survive the next 3 to 4 minutes. Any phone calls you want to make? Great news all round.
Good from you. You can't. You can't argue with times, and we've still got all these athletes mixing up. So if you got, this is what. Iron sharpens iron, great man. So if you've got 7 or 8 athletes combined, really,
that's it,
competing for 3 spots in each event.
That's it.
Hey, it's better. Back in the early 2000s, we had 1 or 2. It
was a gimme.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Pressure. And these guys, viewers, these guys aren't trying to bloody just make the Aussie team. They're trying to win medals, which is for the first time since Buster, and then before him, John Landy, aforementioned John Landy, Ron Clark and the like.
Oh, I love it, mate. Pressure builds diamonds, and that's what we're going to be taking to Paris this year. Look, before we go, mate, you said you can't argue with time, and I know yours is short, so we're going to try and wrap this up.
Segway king.
Speaking of segways, I rode in on one today. I should have run. But we have a segment, and this is without notice. We love a little segment that we think at the Olympic Village, in order to create the next generation of hybrid super athletes, we have a segment we like to call Who Needs to Bone. Now, we basically picked 2 Aussie athletes in their prime that went at it at the Olympic Village. You believe Mottram to be the greatest Aussie athlete of all time, so I'm assuming he's in the sack. We need to know, question without notice, I know, so take your time, who in their prime should Mottram be going the rumpy pumpy with to create the next great runner?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, Buster. No disrespect, Bus, but he would have absolutely slayed him after dark.
Not disrespectful at all.
I know,
Feel
but
free to
he's married
disrespect me
before-
anytime you like.
He's married
Hey,
to
no
4 kids now.
disrespect. You're a real swordsman.
Yeah, he's a swordsman of all, mate, and he just had has the swagger, and he's a good-looking man, but he could have been the ugliest prick in the world. It wouldn't have mattered. He's got the swagger. Now, Buster. Oh, you'd have to go. So
Are we talking to young Betty Cuthbert and getting a sprinter, or are we going to go for...
It feels weird going Betty Cup for Dawn Fraser type vibes.
Not for me, it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. It does for me. I'm going to have to go real time, so 2024.
Let's not get cancelled, but yes.
Yes.
You have mentioned a few teenagers about to be named, and
No,
of all things to cancel us, if it's Rick Mirabella talking about Mottram rooting a potential athlete, I don't know where we've gone wrong, but I want more of it.
No, I'm going to go Jessica Hull, who's very legal age. She's nearly 30.
Right, Jess Hull.
She is, I dare say, she'd be quite good with Buster, and the combination would go very, very well.
Sensational. Jessica Hull, Craig Mottram.
In the sack.
In the sack. That's who needs to bone. When coaching, is your job done once they start a race? Are you sitting on the sideline with a clipboard, a whistle, a coffee, and there's not much you can do to get in their ear?
Yeah, look, you'd hope that most of the work's been done.
Yes.
And so I'll answer that with probably a yes. But then most of the time they've hopefully got my words, and they do say they got my words ringing through their ears in good moments and in bad. So
Yeah, okay.
I can't answer that definitively, but I will say you're pretty confident, especially as a coach and an athlete back in the day. Once the start line and they toe the start line, I want to just be able to relax.
Clarity.
They won't, but clarity.
Yeah.
And if I've done my job, if they can at least meditate and marinate in the race and not have any external anxieties, then we've done our job. But yeah, I think my job's mostly done by start time. Yes.
I just love the idea of someone marinating in a race. That is a hot race, my friend. All right, Rick. Well, you've been an absolute treat for us, mate. I think we should get you back in before the Olympics again. We got it. We got more freaks to watch. We got more medals to gain, and by then we're actually going to know who's in the team. But any final tips? I know you've given us so much. We always say, "What have we learned so far?" I've learned just get up and go. Just start doing it. I've learned that we're going to get medals galore. I've learned that Hull and Mottram are going to create a super running specimen. There's been so much information garnered. Do you have any? Is it all about simple meditation, stretching, getting up off your ass? Is there any one tip you can give the maybe Dalians at home in order to improve their well-being?
Yeah, definitely. I think what I spoke about before is don't wait to feel good to do it, but also don't compare. Don't compare to your past self, or don't compare to other people and how if they've got results or they've ascertained results quicker than you. That happens. You must block out all the noise and just single task, one thing at a time, and move. And Sonny is going to start this, or he's on a bike already, which is magnificent. So Sonny's going to have these words ringing in his ears, I reckon, the next 7 to 12 days.
Mate, I often have words ringing in my ears, and it is not a pretty sight in there. There's a lot of voices, and they're rarely positive. So it's been great to have you with your positivity in my ears and in everyone's today. Do you want a high five or a fist bump before we go?
High five, brother,
yes.
and a hug.
Love it.
We'll
get a hug in right now. Let's do it. Rick, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for being a part of the Maybe Daily. We'll be back next week with more. Mace is going to be back with me. And then until then, I need you to remember a couple of things, Rick. I love you, and I need you to stay mint.
You're a legend, mate. I want to stay mint forever.
Consider it done.